Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavalabha Giri Varadari. Gopi Janavalabha Giri Varadari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavalabha Giri Varadari. Gopi Janavalabha Giri Varadari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Madhava ki, Shri Gaura Nitai ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Prabhupada, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you to our Mridanga players, plural. Okay, so let's get started with the Mangala Charan, and then we could get started properly. Let's get Kirti out of here. How do we get Kirti out of here? How do we get her out of here? There's a way to... anyway, don't worry. Just keep her there for now. Okay, should we get started? Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. Okay, we'll just do this verse together. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay, so just while I'm getting everything ready for the guys online, who can remember anything from last week? Anything at all?
We spoke about parental love.
Okay, would you like to expand a little bit, Shanice, or?
I remember there was the word magnanimous.
Uh-huh.
There was something about the different types of love. Spoke about Paravraj. Spoke about who else did we speak about? Who else? Gajendra, and the different types of relationships in terms of.
Oh yeah, the character witnesses. That was the term, right?
Oh yeah.
I knew there was a different term. Okay, yes, yeah, very nicely. Even I forgot about that. Well done, yeah. Okay, good.
We talked about a catalyst to speed up collections.
Oh yes, and what was that catalyst?
It was towards Krishna's grace
Okay.
and devotees and how. So I've got an arrow here.
Yeah, you got a few arrows there, I could tell. All right. So we got Krishna's grace, our choices or something, but the catalyst was? Calamities could be the catalyst. It could be the catalyst to Krishna. It could become the catalyst to Maya.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you said that really loud, huh? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. So it could be the catalyst to either side there. Oh, Hiran Williams Fisher is also entering the room.
So I can see the slides, so I can guess.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. Those of you online, can you see the slides now? Those of you online?
Yes, we can see them.
You can see it, yeah? Okay, so in a moment, actually, let me just try it out now. Do you know when I change the slide now? Does it change on your side?
Yes, it does.
Excellent, all right. Let's get it back there for now. Okay, anyone else could remember anything from last week? Krishna, the master of all. Yes, that's good to remember every single week, actually. Yes, for sure. Okay, here we go. All right, Liam.
Krishna gives mercy to even those seemingly unworthy.
Yes. Would you want to elaborate a little bit on that one? Oh, you don't want to, huh? That's as far as the notes go in the notepads. What more can you do? Okay. Would have been good to hear something extra on that, but no problem. No pressure, Liam. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, yes, Avni, yeah. Avni, from now on, just say you want to say something, right? So I don't need to guess.
So it's people that don't seem favourable, like aren't they so beautiful, don't have much wealth, that Krishna still reciprocates.
Yes. So even if you have all the good material qualities, it means nothing to Krishna necessarily per se, in and of itself. But if someone's got no good qualities materially that the whole world is looking for and gravitating towards, but they have bhakti, that's all that matters, and that's a successful life. Yep. We'll be speaking more about that today, hopefully. Let's see how far we go. Okay, yes, anyone else?
Applying ointment to diseased eyes.
Okay, yes. Do you want to share something more on that?
Just I remember you saying to me.
Oh wow, Janki's here. I can't believe it. Okay. Are you meant to be here? Or is there another class going on? Cameo. I think it's cameo. Yeah, all right. God, it is. Every 6 months there's a cameo. All right, fine. Don't hold on to your breath for next week, huh? Okay, thank you, Janki, for coming. Drove here safely? Okay. Yeah, someone gave you a lift.
Did you not see the police outside?
Oh yeah, no, that was for you. Wow, you must have really done something wrong this time, huh? For the police to come, did you kill someone or no? Okay, you don't know. Okay, fine. Okay, yes. Sorry, I interrupted. Somebody was saying something here. Who was speaking just now? Sorry, Neelam, my bad. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, just the ointment to.
Yes, that's right. The ointment.
Krishna.
Yes. So what's the ointment to see Krishna? There could mean many things.
In prayer, when suffering goes down.
Okay, yeah.
And in prayer, when you utter it unconditionally, so you're not sort of just saying it as a mantra, or you're just saying it for the sake of it. It's really there with love.
Okay. Do you remember we were talking about when you put an ointment in your eye, or some eye drops, let's just say, is it nice? No, what happens? You can't see, yeah, you can't see properly. Okay. It stings, right? This is Hector again, huh? You could give her props, yeah? Okay, fine. Yes, it stings, right? But a good patient should know that that stinging shouldn't put them off, because actually it gives vision, basically, right? And do you remember in that verse as well? Verse 25, right? I think it is. Do you remember Queen Kunti is addressing Krishna by a certain term? Tatra Chatra Jagat Guru, yeah, the Guru. He's the spiritual master of the whole wide world. He's the worldwide physician. And so he's prescribing calamities. And if you put that calamity in the right place, in your vision of the world, then you can start walking towards Krishna. You can see things as they are. If instead you use the calamity and you put it somewhere else, you throw it somewhere else, or you put it on your feet or under your feet and you try and trample it, no, more calamities will come. A more degraded vision will come. Yeah? So it's an ointment, it stings, you have to put it in your vision. It has to be amongst your vision. Not just happy, happy-go-lucky things is the way I see this world. Do you remember like Tuesday we were speaking about, who is it, with Shivani, positive mental attitude? No, not just that. That won't allow you to become spiritual. If you just see positive things, no. Krishna wants you to see this world for what it is. Yeah, it's a prison. Yeah, it is a prison. But it's a prison with a purpose. Okay, good. Anyone else? Yep, Smith.
About gratitude, and I think we discussed between us, how can we see more of Krishna's hands, or how can we become more grateful for the spiritual protection and allowing us to do that?
We have to learn to see Krishna behind all the different points and happenings in our life. And when we connect the dot back to Krishna, we see it was Krishna that was pushing us to see him and to connect the dots to him. We're connecting dots, but we get into really weird conclusions, life after life. We should be connecting the dots. Like I said previously, right? All the ammunition to want to side against Maya is in everyone's life. You've all got different lives. Up until this point, we've had different experiences, similar experiences, but many unique, different experiences. All the ammunition to want to not side with Maya in this lifetime is there already. You just need to think about it carefully enough. Okay? All right, anyone else?
Don't take the illusion too seriously.
Yes, Bhavik, that's the motto, right?
Yeah.
Don't take the illusion too seriously. What does that mean, Bhavik?
I did write in the top line.
There, look how many people are taking notes nowadays, huh, Liam?
I don't know what it was about, but I think...
His notepad's pocket size as well.
I can make it up.
It's like the Japanese.
Don't take what we live in too seriously.
Yes.
Try and push past that, the illusion that we've got, and move past that towards spirituality.
Yeah. This world is real, it's temporary and it's futile, and it's been one of many, many millions, if not billions and trillions of lifetimes. The illusion is to think this life is the be-all and end-all. This life defines you. The dharmic responsibilities of this life defines you. As a spirit soul, that is illusory. So don't take the illusion too seriously. Do what you need to do, be dharmic, do your responsibilities, but don't forget the medicine. Isn't it? If you go to the hospital, chat with the nurses, speak to the whoever it is, the wardens and whatnot, but you don't make time to have the consultation with the doctor and take the prescription, what's the point of being in the hospital? Makes no sense, right? So yeah, we have to be smart. Spiritual life doesn't mean like absent-mindedness, don't use your intelligence, things will come to you like you're Cinderella or something. You have to use your intelligence in Krishna's service. Yeah? Has to be done. Okay, good. Anyone else? Yep.
Spoke about that famous Queen Kunti verse where she said, I wish all these calamities would happen again and again, so I can see again and again.
Yes. Yeah. What did you take away from that? Or yeah, did you want to say something else?
I think we went into a bit about darshan, about we want to act in a way where we can see Krishna, but we should act in a way where Krishna can see us. The ending of that verse, obviously, so it does have to see birth and death again, I think. So how seeing Krishna, it's that verse, knowing Krishna's activities, transcendental activities, and appearance, doesn't have to take that.
Okay, you started strong there. Yes. Okay. Yeah, no, I got it. I got the references, yeah. Yes, so, actually on that point, let's get to this verse so then we could just tidy up what Smith started. It's not like a bricklayer, they're starting, but then the cement starts going and it's like, oh, let's knock this down and start again. We're going to clean it up, Smith, don't worry. Yeah. Okay, before we get to that clean-up operation, anyone else wants to share anything? Any reflections, any realizations, any thoughts?
You said something about Prapanchik Vaikuntha.
Yes.
So I forgot what was the content, but I remember this stuff.
Okay, thank you for that, Gaurav, yeah.
There's a Vaikuntha and there's Prapanchik Vaikuntha in this planet.
Yes, Prapanchik means of like the 5 elements of this material world. So there's a Vaikuntha in this material world, which isn't the ultimate Vaikuntha. It is like the embassy. You know, like sometimes back in the day, before I got my OCI, I had to get like the visa and stuff sorted, and sometimes you had to go to the Indian embassy. Indian embassy is in London. You know I love London. Right? I love London, but I don't love no Indian embassy in London. You go to the Indian embassy in London, no jokes, it is like you're in India. Including the type of cleaner, the way they clean, the smell. You're like, just like stepped out of London. Where, what? And then you step back out, you're like, how have they messed this up? You got all the resources of London, but you want to make it India as well here. It's like, even the queuing system is like in India. I think even the software they're using is from India. Mind you, India's software is better now. But you're just like, what? This is literally like mini India right here. Yes. So what was the point I was trying to make? Yeah, Prapancha Vaikuntha, that was the point, right? So if you are approaching Vishnu or Krishna, more so Vishnu, let's just say, but in a very ritualistic, mechanical, karma kanda, I want a reward from it way, or you don't develop pure love, so then what happens is you could get all the rewards of bhakti in Prapanchik Vaikuntha, then you're born in a devotee family, and if you develop pure love with the Guru's grace, you go back to actual Vaikuntha. Yeah, so Prapanchik. Yep, Liam?
I don't know whether you mentioned it, but through different types of like devotees, we spoke about like the parental affection and fearlessness, removing suffering, as we mentioned magnanimous earlier, destroy sins and then grants unlimited auspicious positions.
You got it all written down, huh? By the way, we want to encourage Khushbu to give one of the presentations here on a Thursday. Khushbu, do you want to tell everyone here what you've been up to at your school? Or maybe Wrinkle could help you. Wrinkle knows, right? You tell her all your secret. Yeah, she was telling me she's going to present, or she has presented something on the Ramayana to adults, not just to kids, to adults. So she was getting me some, some insight from me. I just gave her some general suggestions, but she's really blown it up and presented really well. So good, apparently, she told me in her own words, she made someone cry with one of the points. So then she was so happy it went well. So I said, look, it's half an hour presentation. Why don't you present all of it or like chunks of it, like 10 minutes at a time here on a Thursday? Who would like to hear Khushbu presenting on a Thursday? No, it's got to be louder. Who wants to hear Khushbu presenting on a Thursday? So Khushbu, I've given you enough notice. Yeah, before it's your Sangha, actually, not my Sangha. So from next week, Khushbu, can you give us 5 10-minute installments? Why? You've got it. You've done it already. What's the issue?
It was for beginners. Everyone knows Ramayana. I don't.
No, I don't. I've forgotten it.
Actually, I don't know. No.
So yeah, from next week, yeah, we'll get Khushbu doing a 5 10-minute installment.
I barely understand it.
There you go. So Khushbu, where is Ramayana? Yo, someone's getting geographical location. It's not even like the relevant question.
We don't know anything.
How is Ramayana? Somebody's saying, okay. People are forgetting English as well. So Khushbu from next week, 5 10-minute installment, and we'll put peer pressure as well. Like, no issue, okay? No issue. Thanks, Khushbu. Hare Krishna. From next week, yeah? Next week. Wrinkle, just remind her a few times, okay? Next week, Khushbu, look happy about it, okay? You've done it already. What's the big deal? Okay. All right. So, yeah, anything else? Janki, sorry, you wanted to say something. Yeah.
Probably not related to this per se, but KCR actually has been sharing from my overall calendar quotes in a group chat that we have.
Is it? Okay.
And then one of the quotes he said was, KCR might be explaining better than this part, but it was to do with, when a doctor prescribes you medicine,
Okay.
you literally take it to the T. Like if they say this many doses, you
Right.
questionnaire, and I think they said something about the Gita and scriptures. So you don't need to read around it. You don't need to kind of make up your own interpretations. It is kind of
Take it as it is, yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was
Wow, easy. Christian, that's good, man. Okay, nice. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else wants to share anything before we start? Or ask anything before we start? Okay, we'll start? Yeah? We did this last week, if you remember. Verses 23, 24 on the theme of gratitude, they were linked, so we did them together. What's the link between those two verses and the next verse, 25, which we just started last week? What else do we need to do to see Krishna? We spoke about this theme of learning to see Krishna philosophically. And so to that end, we started with this verse here, Can someone read out this verse again because it's such a powerful verse? Yep, go for it, Hiran.
I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths.
Yes, so this is what Smith was talking about, right? So we're getting darshan of repeated birth and death, and we're trying to get darshan of Krishna. 2 darshans, but actually those 2 darshans are, what's the word? Dear, your English is good, right? When you got interlinked, yeah. Juxtaposed? What does that mean again?
Juxtaposed means opposites. No?
Oh. What about if you got one on top of the other?
Superimposed.
Superimposed, yes, dear, that's the one, okay. Superimposed, dear, got the right one there, yeah. So these darshans are superimposed, meaning that the background darshan, the default darshan, is seeing happiness in the world of repeated birth and death, which is contradictory. But Queen Kunti is seeing Krishna in the world of repeated birth and death. Our mission is also to try and see Krishna, if not actually see Krishna, but see him philosophically, see his hand behind everything. Therefore, if we get darshan of Krishna in the world of repeated birth and death, we no longer have darshan of repeated birth and death, life after life. Yeah? Does that make sense? So darshan is coming to the temple, taking darshan. You know, I'm not trying to discount that, that's there. But that's kind of like the training ground to see Krishna everywhere, directly and indirectly. Yeah? We should be yearning to have darshan of Krishna at all times, and definitely during difficulties as well. And what was the purpose of this verse being spoken by Queen Kunti? Can someone give me the setup, the background, the context? Why is she saying this stuff?
Is it when Krishna was leaving for Dwarka and she said, don't leave, I want calamities to happen again and again because I get to see you.
Yeah, so she'd rather have calamities over and over again because at least she was thinking of Krishna, calling for Krishna, seeing Krishna's hand, even when, you know, even though Gaurav would say otherwise, even when Krishna seemingly wasn't there, right? She saw Krishna there. She said that's a lot more better than us now getting all the things that we didn't have, but never seeing you again, and not having any reason to call for you again. Which one's better? Queen Kunti is thinking it's better we don't have the kingdom, we don't have the resources, we don't even have the safety, at least we had you in our lives. And when we had darshan of you, despite the calamities, despite the drops of happiness, we didn't have darshan of repeated birth and death. Yeah? So it relates very much to us. So if you leave us, even our greatest joys right now will become our greatest sorrows. And that theme she's going to build up upon in the next verse when we get onto this. So anyway, we did speak about this verse last week. I'm not going to labour the point for those that were here. We went through some of these sort of points here. Okay, yeah, we came to this slide, isn't it? So just a quick review. This verse seems to defy common sense. Normally we don't pray for these sort of things, but Queen Kunti is teaching us the secret of how to get darshan of Krishna. So take it like that. It's a secret to how to get darshan of Krishna. Most people come and pray to Krishna, please take away all the troubles in my life. But Queen Kunti is saying, careful what you pray for, because if you pray for those things, you may never see Krishna again. Interesting, isn't it? So sometimes we're trying to wish away the process by which we could see Krishna in our prayers. Heavy, right? Do you remember right at the start of this series I said we're all praying, but how we pray and what we pray for determines how we advance, if we advance, or where we go backwards. Yeah? The consciousness of someone's prayer is reflected by how much progress they make in spiritual life. It's reflected by what they say, of course. Okay, so the idea is there's difficulties, and if we was to think about advertising Krishna consciousness to the masses, this is probably not the best advertisement strategy, isn't it? What do you think, dear? Like pray to Krishna for all difficulties, just get lots of difficulties, let the difficulties stick, and then you'll see Krishna. Yeah. Do you want to sign up?
I don't think it'll drive me in.
Yeah, I can't tell if you're being sarky or not. Are you? Where's your mum? Is she being sarky or not? I can't tell.
No, she's being serious.
She's being serious, huh?
Yeah.
You being serious?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fine.
That's your point though, no?
Yeah, you know with this reverse sarcasm, I can't even tell where we are right now. I'm just going to give up. It's fine. You win this battle. It's fine. No worries, dear. Okay, yeah, literally what Dia was saying, it's not a good strategy. Yeah, I also agree. It's not a good strategy, right? So why is Krishna saying this? Let's have a quick go, look into what it means, just so we could be convinced by what Krishna is saying. So here we have a couple of pictures. What's the first picture on the left, please?
Sugarcane juice.
Sugarcane and sugarcane juice. How many of you have seen sugarcane being crushed up in India and you get the sugarcane juice for 10 rupees or whatever it is? A few of you, right? Oh, it's more than 10 rupees? No, it's more than 10 rupees when they hear your accent, my friends. All right? That's when the inflation comes in. So you know, when you have the sugar cane and it's being squeezed in that machine by the walla like over and over, it goes once, you get a bit of juice. You take it out again, you squeeze it again, you get more juice. You take it out, you put it, and they do it quite a few times. Have you seen? Sometimes 5, 6, 7 times easy. And by the end of it, you get a cup of the most concentrated, sweet tasting nectar. Life is also like that. Bhakti is like that. If you want the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean of devotion to start flowing from your heart, life's got to process you a few times. The yearning for Krishna, which is like the ambrosia of nectar, will start pouring out. But sometimes once or twice isn't enough because we think this isn't all right, like a quarter of a glass is fine, right? But actually you've got to get spun out a few times over and over, and then what you're left with is the essence. That hard material that's very tough to break down is like our heart right now. Doesn't really want to trust, doesn't want to give away, wants to be a fortress. It wants to remain so hard that even we don't allow Krishna and the devotees into our heart, into our mind. Therefore, like I said, calamities can be the catalyst. The heart needs to be broken sometimes to allow Krishna to enter. Yeah? So that's one example. Okay, yes, mate.
So you know the calamities being a catalyst.
Yeah.
What can influence whether that can lead to Maya or Krishna? Like how in that process?
The guidance of the devotees and your faith in the devotees. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hey, hi Krishna. You okay? Huh?
She stopped it because you were speaking.
Stopping what? Oh, what do you want me to do? Oh, okay, fine. Okay. All right, fine. Okay, Shanice, do that thing again. Okay, second picture. What's going on in the second picture here?
It's like a
Throwing his child.
Family.
Yeah.
father and son bonding.
Father and child. Okay, we've got throwing a child, father and son being bonding. Or hopefully will bond.
Hiranyakashipu 2.0 is throwing the child.
Hiranyakashipu, yeah, exactly. Actually, that's one way he didn't try to kill Prahlad. That's one way it's not mentioned. Huh? Yeah, didn't throw him far enough. So, what happens, have you ever, like, I don't know, whose parents here, or maybe you've done this with a niece or a nephew or someone, maybe Shanice has done this at school. You get a kid, you throw them in the air. For the first time, you could traumatize them. They're like, you know, what the, it's like all the air's gone, feel their lungs collapsing, and then you do it a second time, you're like, what the hell? And you do it a few times. What happens is the first few times it's scary, then it gets less scary. Then an interesting thing happens. The child will spontaneously come up to the parent, to the guardian, and say, yo, chuck me up again. Isn't it? Believe it or not, same thing happens in bhakti. Krishna throws the devotee up, and the devotee feels lost, feels scared. All right, and then it happens a second time, a third time. And then the idea is, because whenever the devotee is in lost, difficulty, and they call out to Krishna, as they become more and more purified, calling to Krishna, they go from this reality to uppercut, Krishna's unmanifest reality, where there's joy, there's happiness, and they start embracing the difficulties or the realities of this world, just like Queen Kunti is. So can you see there's another dimension to Queen Kunti's prayers as well? It's not that she's just inviting calamities for the sake of it, but the calamities allow her into Krishna's world. Make sense? All right, so here's a verse. We've often reflected on this verse. Can someone read this verse out? Someone who's not read thus far. Every week, huh? It's like was it Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan? Double team.
The personality of God is.
Oh, Smith got in there one time. He broke up that bond. Yeah, okay, go for it. Go for it.
The personality of God said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. than the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. When he becomes frustrated in his attempts to make money and instead befriends my devotees, I bestow my special mercy upon him.
Ooh, good thing that second verse was there, right? Yeah, so it's not just about this. So it's almost like Krishna's mercy comes in two stages. One is the darkness. Remember I said in the Christian word they talk about the dark night of the soul. And the second stage is the mercy or the sunrise. It comes in two stages, two installments. So all of us in this room, myself included, have to make a decision and have to keep making this decision. Is it worth it? Many people get thrown once or twice, they forget about this, man. I'm gonna get adopted by someone else. Yeah? Krishna's not promising anything beyond this. This is the process. This is what will happen. This is currently what is happening, but we may not have the eyes to see it. We're not taking darshan. So do the two examples make sense for everyone? Yeah? Okay, let's carry on then. I want to make some headway today. Okay, this next slide is entitled Distress in Mature Devotees. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur goes into an interesting thinking process, playing the devil's advocate. Everyone knows what the devil's advocate means? What does devil's advocate mean?
Deliberately saying like not the wrong thing, but I suppose the more
Maybe challenging. Yeah. Devil's advocate means the advocate of the devil. So say if you had like a god or someone on the side of the god that's saying it's got to be like this, the devil would say, well, why does it need to be like that? To try and create doubt. But it can strengthen your intelligence, so it can make you go deeper into your understanding of why things have to be done in a certain way. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is doing that. Like I said, it wouldn't be a good preaching strategy that, yeah, Krishna's going to chuck you 20 feet in the air, and if you make it, he might chuck you up a few more times, and on the 20th time, he might give you some joy. Imagine if we said that for the Discover course on the poster somewhere. Right? You might not get 150 no matter how you try. If you're forced to say that line, Smith, you wouldn't be getting anyone. Even with your 50% off or 25% off. With that line, you'll be like, people are like, did I hear that right? So let's see what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Does it need to be like this? So, devotees going through difficulties. It might look like ordinary karmic reactions, but for devotees, especially mature devotees, it is Krishna karma. It's been designed and sanctioned by Krishna himself. It's not the laws of karma. So this is what devotees see. Mature devotees see Krishna's hand in it. Prahlad Maharaj saw that. Yudhisthira saw that. Dhruva Maharaj saw that. They all saw Krishna's hand in the difficulty. Alright, but mature devotees also, remember I say Krishna is my ever well-wisher, he's my friend. He's Jagat Guru. He's the spiritual master that's making me advance, training me, guiding me, teaching me always. So this makes sense so far. All right. What about this though? But why does Krishna need to put them through suffering? Yeah, isn't there just an easier way to do it? Would the suffering need to be part of the learning experience? So every so often Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is going to be interjecting and asking this question. Does it need to be this way? Okay. So it's the first time he's saying it. So does this make sense so far? Mature devotee has that background of understanding. Now Vishwanath Chakravarti, who himself is a pure devotee, like we spoke about in the house program on Sunday, he is a Manjari himself, but for our sake he's saying, he's playing devil's advocate and asking, does it need to be this way? So let's see how this dialogue carries out. A loving father forcibly puts the child through school. Why? Not because they hate the child, even if the child hates the school. It is an expression of the parents' love for the child to grow up and become wholesome and holistic and healthy, to go through school, even if they don't like the school, even if they don't like the lessons, even if they don't like the teacher. It is an expression of the parents' love for their child, that they're getting them to wake up every day, get ready, put on a uniform and go to school. Yeah? This is what's like the answer is that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is given. Alright, so what's the comeback? Vishwanath Chakravarti says, but alright, I mean, devotees are going through happiness and distress, and non-devotees are also going on about happiness and distress. So what's distinguishing the two things? What's distinguishing what the devotees are going through and what karma is given? Because, okay, you're saying it's done by Krishna, but I mean, how is the outcome any different? If the same thing is they're going through, right? Okay, so what is the difference? Let's see what's said. When we get happiness or distress because of our karma, which is material, it's Krishna's system, but it's like a judge that's just saying guilty or not guilty, or not even not guilty. Yeah, you saved someone, you get the key to the city. But the judge is not emotionally invested one way or another. It's just according to the laws of the system, you give the person a reaction, right? That's karma. Paramatma is just neutral, observing, okay, whatever they want, they don't want a relationship with me. So in the world of karma, they did X, Y, and Z, so they get this result. And that's it. Just bang out the hammer, next case. That's all that's happening. So karmic reactions, when you get happiness or distress as a karmic reaction, and you go through it, it leaves a residue, an impression in the subtle body, and that leads to further material desires. More seeds, which get planted, which get watered, and they grow. And what happens as a result? Your consciousness stays degraded or becomes more degraded. And it's just going around in cycles. But when we're talking about Krishna karma, the activities Krishna has planned for you, that's not to do with your karma, they are purifying. Yeah? Whatever desire you may have, when Krishna plans something for you, at the end of it, you don't really have that material desire in the same way or at all. Yeah? Does that make sense? So it looks like you're going through difficulty, a non-devotee is going through difficulty, but at the end of it, a non-devotee may have the same desire. Okay, I crashed a Lamborghini, let me try the Porsche, let me try the Ferrari, right? Let me try a cheaper car. But the devotee is like, okay, let me just walk. Walk and only to the temple as well. Or like Shane, let me just cycle. Yeah? That makes sense? So that desire is just uprooted, even though seemingly it's the same amount of, like from an external point of view, the same amount of distress, but Krishna's distress is purifying. It's leading to devotional sentiment. It leaves no further material desire in that direction, whereas karmic reaction is like that. So basically one is like poison, the other one is like nectar. It's leading to the, have I written that here? Or would I write here? One is like pain caused by the beating of an enemy, and the other one is the chastisement of one's mother. So you see, if an enemy beats someone, you feel embarrassed, you feel ashamed, you feel, I want to get revenge, you feel like I want to show them up. But when a mother chastises a child, okay, the child may, it's a material example, so let's run with it. You may feel like that, but overall you understand, no, but my mum's got my back, right? There's some other dimension to this which I may not have understood, but with time I'll be able to understand. Does that make sense? Okay, there's more to it though. So Vishwanath Chakravarti is saying here, okay, that's all good and understood, but isn't it Krishna's all powerful, right? So can't he purify his devotees in another way without causing them distress? Surely he could give them all the realization without any of the distress, right? He's all powerful. Can't he do that? Doesn't he love his devotees? Does that make sense? So Vishwanath Chakravarti is challenging this, right? Okay, so let's see what the outcome is. He's saying, but the distress that's inflicted leads to pleasure. He gives this example we were speaking about earlier. Just like the stinging ointment, the patient is happy to take it, not because it's stinging, but the stinging is associated with vision. Yeah? I know some people are not fans of immunizations, but say if we're in some third world country and there's polio and people are limping about, and then some doctor's got like an immunization, the only thing is it will pinch for about, not even like half a second. You want to take it? Okay, fine, no issue, right? Because the pleasure is going to lead to a lack of symptoms of polio, right? Does that make sense? So it's not painful in and of itself. It's leading to a greater good. Then we've got some interesting points coming out here now. Furthermore, suffering is also useful for protecting the confidentiality of bhakti. So this is maybe a point that many of us have not thought about, okay? But it's very important because it's not just about us. It's also about the mystery of the nature of bhakti as well. So how is it protecting the confidentiality of bhakti and the secrets of pure devotional service? Oh, let's see. Can any of you guess? So if you see a devotee that's got pure loving devotional service of Krishna and they're going through difficulty, how is that protective of bhakti? You might need to think a little bit outside the box, but who would like to suggest a possible answer?
Will they be thinking more about Krishna through their difficult times? And when we're having good times, we kind of move away a little bit. When something's going through our lives, we pray more. We pray more deeper.
Okay, so for the individual that's been afflicted, for sure, that will keep them going in bhakti. But let's say for the people outside looking, thinking, this guy's a pure devotee, God's supposed to love him, but it looks like from my point of view, he's going through a lot of difficulty, and I'm actually okay here, not doing any devotional service. So how does that protect the secrets of bhakti? Okay, Liam definitely wants to speak here. Go on.
Does it set as like a good example, or like it kind of like solidifies the the viewer's sort of, I suppose, faith that this person's going through such hard times and that they're still so devout. So
Okay.
there's something in this.
Okay, that's a good answer. Legit answer, that's good. So the fact that they're going through difficulty, yet they're sticking with this, means there must be something to it. So some people could definitely think like that. But I think for most people, would they think like that, or would they be put off about practicing bhakti? They'll be put off, yeah? Okay, yes, mate, you want to say something?
Is it like it's like the example of seeing Vrindavan for what it is? It's like a layer of oil on top of an ocean. So if people can see, then it's easily accessible. But bhakti is not easily accessible. So
Yeah.
it's between Krishna and the devotee, essentially.
Okay, that's good. Let me just draw upon that a little bit more. Okay, Dia. No sarcasm, yeah? All right. Okay. So say if we just said that to people on the street, that actually you pray to Krishna, you do devotional service, amazing things come to you. Okay? What could potentially go wrong if in the world Bhakti Devi just allowed amazing things materially to happen to anyone who's a devotee? And then what would happen to the rest of the world if they saw that?
Do you think that people could misuse it so they could materially advance, or people could become devotees for the wrong reasons?
That's the answer. Yes,
and
mate?
then become bound to the material world still.
Yeah, and then exactly remain. So the idea is they're going for the right thing, but for the wrong motive, right? Do you remember there's only one thing that binds Krishna? That's bhakti. So he's not handing it out freely to everyone. Only one thing that can control Krishna, and he wants to be controlled by it, is his devotees' bhakti. For that, he's willing to take on the position of the charioteer. For that, he's willing to get up and wash the feet of Sudama. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah, Liam?
So is this like, are you trying to say that it's kind of a bit like a test?
Not for the individual, but for everyone else. Basically, Krishna wants you to enter bhakti for the right reason. If it's poison from the get-go, it's not really going to get much better unless you come across a pure devotee. Yeah? So it's supposed to be secretive. It's not supposed to be advertised so freely, in one sense. Or at least not in the typical way, that you just walk out in the street, you see a devotee suffering, and then initially, what's that going to do? That's going to reconfirm your faith that actually I don't want Krishna in my life. Because ultimately that's what you wanted. Yeah? So the secrets of bhakti and how it can control Krishna, because it is a secret, you can't just get that conclusion just from seeing a devotee. Krishna wants to protect it. Bhakti Devi wants to protect it. Yeah? So that's why, like, if you see devotees going through difficulty, the initial reaction would be like, let me pray to Shiva, let me go to Durga Devi, let me go for some demigod instead. But that's actually what's keeping bhakti pure from one point of view. Yeah?
It also humble you as well to see, okay, well, there's a devotee going through difficult times, and they're doing everything, and I'm nowhere near, and they're still going through difficult, and it humbles you down as well. And
Yeah.
also builds up your compassion as well.
Yes, yeah.
Two things by seeing someone in pain and suffering builds up your compassion.
For sure. I think when it's happening to us, I'm just going to go back to the front of the title. This is like in very elevated devotees. So they have compassion nonetheless for anyone and everyone. And their humility is coming from the soul. So they never think they're better than anyone. They just think they're more fortunate. But they never think they're better. Yeah? So such a person, why is Krishna allowing them to go through it? So yeah, I mean, it's helpful to think about us in that position. But just for a second, just pure devotees who are like beyond the modes or approaching that. Yeah, Kishan.
About the process of hammering out the impurities inside you, trying to make you pure.
Yeah, I mean, that was a slide before. So that was like the sugarcane juice. So for like the individuals that are sadhakas with anatas, that's true. But what about the people that are beyond the anatas? Right? Krishna seemingly picking them in the Bhagavatam over and over, and they're going through difficulty. Surely they should be rewarded. Why has Queen Kunti been subjected to that? So we're talking about such devotees, yeah? Okay, so does that make sense? First reason, or one of the reasons, is the nature of bhakti is confidential. So therefore, to maintain that confidentiality, Krishna is disguising it like this, dressing it like this, yeah? Also for the individual, just going back to it, even if they are a pure devotee, it's allowing them in that Leela to increase their calling to Krishna. I'm going to speak more about this in the next slide as well. But it's also a way for the pure devotee and Krishna to increase their intimacy with each other, without the whole world seeing the intimacies being increased. Yeah? Yeah, so Nish, you want to say something?
Yeah, in a way in life, you sometimes remember the danger or the stress that you've had more than happiness.
Yeah.
And maybe if you reframe that danger or that thing that you've been through as like perhaps a test or a challenge from Krishna, and then you reflect on how you got over it, and probably it's, if you're doing your service and stuff like that, you can think that perhaps you were supported through that challenge, then it kind of could strengthen your devotion because you're remembering the danger more than the happy times.
100%.
And how you got kind of through it, and that's how it builds that devotion.
You know, unless we go through tests in general, you can't become stronger, right? Everyone knows that in whatever you're doing, whether it's life, going to the gym, learning something, academia. Without tests in academia, how can you get stronger, right? It's not possible, isn't it? Unless you're given essays and exams and multiple choice questions, there's no resistance for you to overcome, right? So someone who gets to the stage of Nishta, if you remember those 9 stages culminating in Krishna Prem, to get to Nishta, they've needed to overcome many things, seen many things, experienced everything, and then realize this world is actually futile. At the stage of Nishta, it's very hard for someone to drop back because their roots of faith is just so deep now, there's nothing that can knock over that tree anymore. Yeah? So even for roots in plants to grow, there needs to be resistance, isn't it? There needs, like, even of the same species, which roots grow thicker and bigger is often if the soil's not so great, not good quality, it has to go deeper. The roots have to go further to find the water source, right? That's also the same thing in spiritual life as well. Okay, let's just carry on for now. Is that okay if I just carry on? And then we could discuss this in a bit. Okay, the other point I've just put here, so yeah, was that point clear? So the privacy of the interaction between Krishna and the devotee is protected by the distress around them. Just like if you had 2 lovers, boyfriend and girlfriend, they're in a park and they want to embrace, the foliage of the forest is protecting them and protecting their intimacy, right? So simply the foliage of difficulties, of distress, hypocrisy, or whatever it might be, is firstly protecting them from the prying eyes, but also is allowing a forum where they could actually meet and call one another. Does that make sense? Okay, here I'll put, it's also increasing the eagerness of the devotees to call Krishna to appear. This will be a point that comes up, but imagine if devotees are just self-satisfied. Would they ever call for Krishna? Right? If life's going swimming, oh, Krishna's hands is in this, right? Why do I need to call for Krishna to come directly? There's no impetus to do that. Yeah? Okay, so it intensifies their calling, and at the same time it helps them to let go of anything that's insubstantial, any insubstantial shelters. Okay, if devotees were always content, I'm kind of saying these points before they're coming out here, right? For example, if Prahlad Maharaj was just content and there was no threat from Hiranyakashipu, would Nrsingadev ever have to come? Would we ever be benefited, the future generations? Right? And then there's no leader to talk about. There's no Bhagavatam in this material world. Right? Does that make sense? So there has to be an impetus even for pure devotees to say, Krishna, please come, please help, please let me see you. Otherwise we won't hear about him, we can't ever relish his pastimes, and we won't ever be able to leave this prison house as well. Yeah? Okay. Okay, yeah, same thing. So the idea is it's also helping us who are not on that level to be involved in Krishna Leela. Okay, let's just carry on. We're going to discuss this as well. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying this and he's hearing all of this. Here's his comeback. But, okay, you're saying the Lord incarnates and he appears and everyone gets benefit. That's cool. But why can't he come himself, or why can't he send an expansion for a reason? That's just peaceful. That's just loving. Why is it always got to be to relieve someone's distress? He's all powerful. Can't he do it? And to this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur does his final response. He says, yes, he could. He could come as Shanta Nasimha, really peaceful. And just like, cute, cuddly Nasimha. Like, playing with him like a cat or something like that. He could do all of that stuff. But you don't understand what I didn't write this point, the lead up to this point here. He's basically saying to all of us, but we're not expert in understanding bhakti ras, spiritual mood. So to help us understand that, he gives these following points, okay? Which are very poetic. I've just put them all together here. The sunrise is attractive all the time, right? But it's attractive especially when it first comes out and it contrasts against the darkness of the night. You have darkness, you have no light, then you have sunrise and you're like, wow, it's so beautiful, so powerful, so empowering. So the contrast is there. Similarly, you've got cold water. Cold water is always the same temperature. But when is it most pleasing? Especially those of you that have visited India and you just had a standard shower or bath and just natural how it comes out of the earth, it's just so soothing, isn't it? And vice versa. In the winter, when you have warm water, it's regenerating, right? It's rejuvenating. Then lamplight, you could turn on the lamp anytime, and it's the same amount of light, but it's especially attractive in the darkness, not in the glaring light of the daytime, isn't it? And the last thing he says is, we could eat at any time, and you could eat the same food at any time, but food tastes especially good. Even your favorite meal tastes especially good when you're hungry for it. Yeah, the same reality is more like tasty, more soothing, more nourishing when you're hungry, when there's space for it. So Vishwanath Thakur says, and now there's no further need to speak about this topic anymore. So can you see, hopefully we've covered why distress happens in devotees, especially pure devotees and devotees approaching pure devotees, for so many reasons. Individual reason, even in terms of protecting the nature of bhakti, even in terms of the benefit for future generations, calling the Lord. But even when the Lord comes, why he comes at the time of distress? Because he appears particularly more beautiful to everyone, because we're here in the material world and that contrast is required. Does that make sense to everyone? Does anyone have any quick reflections, thoughts, questions about this series of points from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? Yes, Wrinkle, what are you thinking? Got a question? You sure? Okay. Wrinkle, where have you been the last few weeks? Months? Oh, no, you weren't here. Was Wrinkle here? I mean, you wouldn't know. You haven't been coming either, right? On Zoom, yeah. You might not have seen her on Zoom either. Okay, fine. Okay, so any reflections from anyone? Or shall we carry on? So everyone's happy why distress happens in a devotee's life now, yeah? You got it. Okay, Avni, yeah, God, yeah.
I thought he was going to say something about we don't belong in this world. That's why we go through distress.
I mean, yeah, that's also there as well. That's like, maybe you could say, that's true, but I think that's more just in any yoga pathway, that's true. It's not specifically bhakti. It's just that, we're aliens here, and in any environment, you're not going to feel comfortable. The fish out of water is going to feel distressed. So that's true, for sure. This is a little bit more further down the line, specifically in bhakti. Yeah? Okay, Kishan, yeah?
Is it some kind of like soul purification? That's why we go through...
Not yet. Let's just remember, I'm making this point over and over. This is for mature devotees. Yeah? For us, humbly, we're not on that level. And mature doesn't mean I'm mature at work. It means like, I'm Nishta and above. Yeah? So that's why Vishwanath Chakravarti is making a distinction. Queen Kunti is not like you. Queen Kunti is a spiritual personality, yet she's coming here and she's going through distress. But for us, it was like that picture of the sugarcane juice. For us, it's like the child being thrown up. That's why I was making that distinction. Make sense? Yeah. Okay.
I don't quite get this.
It's fine. We'll talk about it later. Don't worry. Just make a picture about it. We'll chat about it later because, your conversations are too long. All right. Let's just go into it right now. Okay? Okay. Last bit of context on this prayer, extreme prayer from Queen Kunti. When it's all said and done, Queen Kunti wasn't praying like this during the calamities. Okay? So we can take some solace in that. It's just a reflection. And just like Kushbu was saying, just the context is she's more worried that she'll never get to see Krishna again. Now she's reflecting, thinking, at least back then, we had you in one way or another. So it's a philosophical way of looking at it. It's a prayer not for more and more calamities. It's not a prayer for avoiding desire, but ultimately that prayer is a manifestation of her gratitude. Remember, she talked about all the different ways Krishna's helped her, and Krishna, she sees Krishna's hand in there. This is just a natural manifestation. You were there with me. Yeah? Also, Queen Kunti is a pure devotee, and pure devotees or mature devotees can always see the bigger picture. So anytime if we're confused, like we're practicing bhakti, we've done seminars on this in the past, maybe last year or the year before. How does a pure devotee deal with difficulties? Maybe I should have added this here, but because there's so many different devotees who've been around and not been around, I forgot about that. But always a devotee, let's say at our level, is thinking, actually, this is just a token reaction of what Krishna should have given me, or what my absolute karmic reaction should be. Just like, Prabhupada gives the example of the child and the fan moving in India, and the child wants to touch the fan, and the parent is thinking, if I leave the room, my child's just going to jump up and touch the fan and chop off his finger. But if I tell them no, anytime I leave the room, there's a chance of that happening. So voluntarily, they turn the volume or the speed of the fan lower, and then lift up the child to touch the fan, and the child touches the same fan, it thwacks their finger, and they think, God, that was just when it was half the speed. If it was full speed, my whole finger would have been gone. So it gets a token reaction. So devotee is thinking, actually, Krishna's just giving me a token reaction to keep me on the path, to keep me going, to keep me cautious of Maya. Remember, spiritual life is like walking on a razor's edge, right? So Krishna's allow me to revise that understanding, that meaning, that I should be done more. But ultimately, Krishna's my friend. Krishna knows what's going on. Let me see the bigger picture. Let me not hang on to my understanding of it. Let me see how this could potentially make me become a better devotee years down the line. Yeah? So we have to withdraw and see it from that point of view. And they actually know what the definition of what Krishna's protection is. Remember, what is the definition of Krishna's protection? To always remember Krishna, to always depend on Krishna, to realize the futility of Maya. We don't come to that conclusion because our definition of what is protection, even though it means we want more, but that definition actually is narrow compared to what a pure devotee's definition of what Krishna's protection is. Yeah? Protection is, it protects my bhakti, not my bank account, not my possessions, not what I think is important in this life. And to that end, we're going to go through the next verse. So is that okay for this verse, or does anyone have any advances on that, or any things they want to add to that at all?
Kind of my conclusion from this is about reframing your challenges and seeing them in a different way as an opportunity to learn, to develop, and to feel that Krishna is there to protect you through those challenges.
Yeah, we have to reframe it, and reframe it in line with reality. Sometimes, I can't remember which seminar it was, maybe it was the Bhakti psychology seminar that we did here a while ago now, seems like forever. Do you remember I was saying this? I mean, there's many approaches to seeing this world. One approach is you think this world is a hotel and you're the best paying customer. And you approach the front desk like that. That's our approach to this world. That I'm the best paying customer, whatever I want, get it for me. That's what this world is to me. Whereas Krishna, the acharyas, the devotees are saying, actually this world is like a hospital or a prison. And you're just as diseased as everyone else, it's just that the disease manifests differently, and the gurus and the devotees, they're like the physicians, they're the doctors. You're in the bed, you need to take the medicine, then you'll get better. So it's up to you which worldview you want to adopt. The one that's fantasy, which is I'm the best paying customer, and this world here is made to serve me. Who taught you that? What was the scientific experiment that you did that led to that conclusion? Did Krishna say that? So then how do we get to that conclusion then, right? Because we are not matching our expectation with the reality, Krishna's reality, with the Bhagavad Gita reality, therefore we get distressed, therefore we're despondent, therefore we're lost, therefore we're in illusion, therefore we're like, yo, Krishna, what's going on here? But our expectation is not in line with reality. Does that make sense? Devotees' expectation matches reality. Therefore, Krishna's grace is so pleasing to the devotees. Yeah? Does it make sense? When our expectation doesn't match reality, if Krishna's grace is there, we don't even notice it. We take it for granted. We're like, well, Krishna should be doing more. Why? Because we're thinking we're still the best paying customer. Even when we're practicing bhakti, if we have that, still that approach that, yeah, Krishna's the part of the staff of the hotel and I'm his favorite devotee. Yeah, it's the same thing, same psychology. Make sense? Oh, that one hit home, Anish. Okay.
Are we just lucky that we're surrounded by devotees and have kind of found our way here, or perhaps been born into Hinduism, or somehow selected? 'Cause
Yeah.
not everybody is.
Selected. The chosen one. Yeah. Everyone is the chosen one by Krishna, but we don't want to be chosen by him. But for us, we're fortunate, but we're still very misfortunate because we're not grabbing it with both hands. So that's the reality of the situation. Is that okay? All right, so just linking verse 25 to the next couple of verses, we might ask, less is nice that Queen Kunti feels that way. Why don't I feel that way though? Okay, Queen Kunti's special, she's a pure devotee, I'm not. Okay, but still, how do I develop that sentiment? Actually feel like it, not just theoretically. So these next couple of verses is going to tell us the qualification that we need to go on to develop that feeling. Are you all ready to find out what the qualification is that's required to develop the sentiments of Queen Kunti? Yeah, you are?
Yeah,
okay, yes. Haribol, yeah, exactly. All right, Haribol can mean so many things for devotees.
For me, it means, yeah, I want to say.
It's like, yeah. Who wants to see the next slide? Haribol, yeah. Haribol. Haribol. Who wants Prashadam? Yo, Haribol! Okay. Either way. Let's carry on. Verse 26. Can somebody who's not read out thus far, thanks Wrinkle, read out verse 26?
My Lord, your Lordship.
No, wait. You don't come that often. You got to read with some enthusiasm, okay? Say, just sound a bit more excited, right? Okay, that's your excited tone. Great. All right, fine. Go for it.
My Lord, your
Sounds exactly the same. But it's no problem.
but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty cannot approach you with sincere feeling.
This is a very interesting verse because it's turning our conventional understanding and view upside down. 4 things Queen Kunti mentions in this verse, and these 4 things Srila Prabhupada calls, I think it might be in this book, Teachings of Queen Kunti. These 4 things are the 4 pillars of material illusion. What are the 4 things? What's the first thing? Yes, okay, janma, right? One's birth into some established parentage, okay? Then? Great opulence. What's the Sanskrit for great opulence? Okay, Gaurav's got it, yeah. Aishwarya, I was going to say a Bollywood actress back in the day. Is she still acting now? No. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, I mean, it's fine. It is what it is, right? Everyone's got their expiry date. Okay, and then the next one? Education, Shuta, yeah? And then? Beauty. So Shri is a word for beauty. Janmeshwarya Shuta Shribir. Eda Mana Madapunan. So Queen Kunti is saying in this verse that these 4 things, one becomes intoxicated by these 4 things. Nevahati abidatam twai. Then you can't call any feeling twama kinchana gocharam unless someone is materially exhausted. Yeah? So this is quite tough because most of us aspire for these 4, have these 4, or have 1, 2, whatever it is, and we know the benefits of it. If we have some of these things, you know, people look around, they give us some value, we feel established, we feel secure, isn't it? What's Queen Kunti saying? If you get intoxicated by these things, you can't call Krishna's name with feeling, with affection. So I've got a few interesting things about this. Let's go into this.
So this is just, it's a thought process of Kunti Maharani, right? It's not that if they are born, they will not be having that feeling.
Okay, we're going to get into that, Gaurav. This is 2 slides. Relax, yeah? It's coming. Let's just slowly get into it. It's right, Gaurav. You're a pure devotee. Relax. It's not applicable to you. Okay, so sweat it, you know? But let's get into it. Maybe someone like Gaurav could be affected. All right, let's just see. We'll see, okay? But hopefully by the second slide it will be clear what Queen Kunti is talking about. Let's just take it at face value for now. So these 4 things are considered like, if you have these 4 things, materially you're successful, isn't it? Especially if you got all 4, you're like, wow, this is someone empowered, yeah? But Queen Kunti is saying this breeds a false sense of security. It affects the consciousness in the same way that drugs, wine, alcohol affects the consciousness, right? Has anyone ever been drunk on any of these 4 things before? Anyone wants to recount? Go on. I know no one's got Shri, but okay, Janma. I had to get it in there, okay? Everyone thinks they're beautiful, but let's face it, I mean, not Aishwarya Rai, you know, like, I know she's retired, but even still, back in the day, all the guys like, yeah, she's the one, okay? So Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta. Maybe some of you have some of that in some abundance, right? Has anyone ever been like, yo, I've arrived? Anyone like feel like that? Yeah, Smith? Yeah, okay, go on. When have you felt like that? You got a smug grin on your face. When was it? What happened?
Back at school, just like, I didn't really put much effort in, but I used to do well, so I used to do it.
Yeah. In case you don't know, Smith was a child prodigy. He got 100%, 100 in maths GCSE. He got 100%, he knows it, right? 100 in maths A level. And he was smoking, all sorts of stuff. Even just before the exam, right? Can you imagine? This would have been some maths professor. And now instead he's a salesman, you know? So he's a don. And then obviously, like I remember when I first got into medicine, and then I think when I got into medicine and I became a doctor, the only time in my life my mom's been happy for 5 days straight. She was so chuffed. I could have done anything in those 5 days and I would have got away with it. Murder, I would have got away with it. She would have been my alibi. But on the 5th day, that's when I started noticing, hold up a second, she's taking this for granted now. And then 6th day, it was back to normal. Yeah. Okay, anyone else that's been riding high on some of these things? Who's been riding? Janki, yeah. When were you riding high? Are you still riding high? No, I know, but... Okay, come, give me an example. When was it like, yeah, I've arrived, come.
That's today, on the made of bed.
Is she been Saki there? I can't tell. Dear, you know. Is she being Saki or not?
No.
That's real?
That's real.
Okay, fine. Okay. When was the last time like you had a lot of money or whatever it was, people throwing compliments and you just got, you know, your false ego just got reinforced and you're thinking, yeah, I'm bulletproof here. Anyone had that? Currently has that? No? None of you have that? Your karma's that bad, huh? It's just like in Leicester, you're naturally humbled, huh? Okay. Alrighty, fine, no problem. I think everyone's just wanting to... Those are the conversations they have outside of the Sangha niche. You know, when they're with each other. That's the real Sangha. Okay, anyway, Queen Kunti is saying these are the causes of blindness. Spiritual blindness, right? So the idea is, do you remember? You have the anjana, the ointment that goes into the eye and stings. If you have this is keeping the cataracts there and keeping... Well, cataracts, you need a different type of treatment. But let's just say whatever it is, you just don't want the ointment there. Okay? You just don't want to see. You say you want to see, but you actually don't want to see. What you want to see, we're going to be talking about in the next slide. Okay? But as a result, even if you're chanting japa, even if you're coming to kirtan, when you're calling, and you know when devotees say, yeah, you know, chant with the heart. Yo, chant like you mean it. Yeah? You said that, right? Isn't it sometimes like, yeah, chant with the heart. People are like, what are you talking about? I'm already chanting with the heart, right? There's no heart there. There's nothing there. Chant like you mean it. Yeah, you're meaning it, but you don't really mean it, because Queen Kunti is saying, how can you mean it? You're intoxicated by these 4 things, right? We're going to talk about what it means to be intoxicated, obviously. But just for now, Just have that in your mind. Okay, so if you look in the Sanskrit, well, don't bother actually, it will take all day to do that. But there's one word, okay, in the second line, madha. So this means to be intoxicated. So there's many ways to translate this in Sanskrit dictionary, but it can mean to rejoice, to literally be intoxicated, to be inebriated, you lose touch of reality. Just like, when you become very proud, very arrogant, you can't even see your pitfalls, you can't even see how you're treating people, you just see but you don't see. To become mad, to chase after these, even if it's irrational, to evoke pride, and as a result, because you're so attached, if you get it your way, don't get it your way, it casts you into grief. You experience pain, or you could be poverty induced even if you have these things. Looking over your shoulder, thinking, I'm not as rich as this person or good looking as this person. It induces poverty where there is no poverty. Does that make sense? All of these are symptoms of someone who is attached or has these four things without seeing them in a spiritual way. Does that make sense? So very deep. Yeah.
When we say, you've had good karma, so you might get these things, but it's now seen as almost a curse, that you've got these things, actually it's the opposite.
Exactly, Bhavik. You've nailed it. Well done. I hope you feel good for saying that. Krishna's saying...
I don't want to get intoxicated by it.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That's good. The sarcasm's running rife now, huh? Okay, good. Yes, Bhavik, Krishna's given you the superior intelligence. But do you want that superior intelligence though? That's the question. Now you understand it, do you want to stay on that platform or not? That's up to you. That's up to all of us, right? So, oh yeah, there's one more point. No, there's not the point. So basically the idea is, here we're understanding the dangers and suffering. Is basically a sobering contrast to being intoxicated and feeling secure with these four things. When there's danger and suffering and these four things aren't there, I mean, you could still become arrogant despite not having these four things, but let's put that to the side for now. You could realize actually nothing in this life is substantial. When you're chasing the illusion, you take the illusion seriously, what happens? You can't see through the futility of the illusion. It's as simple as that. Does that make sense? We're reinforcing our imagination that this stuff is substantial, will fulfill me. And what happens if you're surrounded by hype men, hype women, if you get the thing, it's not substantial, they'll say, no, you just got to try it in a different way. Yeah? This will be quite vulgar, but I remember back in the day when I was in secondary school, I went to a bit of a players' secondary school. No, I wasn't a player myself, but I hang around with many players. If you're good at football, it just tends to happen sometimes. And then some of these guys, like, they were with women and being intimate quite young, let's just say. And I remember being involved in a classroom with a few of them, and they were talking about their exploits and glorifying what they were doing and stuff. And then one of the guys, he was actually quite honest. He said, I've been intimate, and it's not all that. And everyone's like, what? And they were like this, and it's like, no, I'll just be honest, it just wasn't all that. And then the hype guys were like, nah, but you got to hype it up, you got to do this and try me, get another girlfriend. That's what the material world is. Chewing the chewed, and if we're hype men, you start chewing the same thing over and over again. That's all that's going on. The blind leading the blind wanting to fool the other blind into the fact that they could see. But everyone's blind. Everyone's chewing that same chewing gum, the taste is gone now. Make sense? That's all that's happening. Nothing more than that. So when there's pride in the heart, we can't cry for Krishna. You could cry for anything and everything else apart from Krishna. All of us have done that, right? We've cried for anything and everything else, but somehow we can't cry for Krishna because that level of emotion isn't transcendental. We're still hard-hearted. Yeah? So, humility is required. If the heart is filled with pride, Krishna can't enter it. It's as simple as that. I've given this example before, that if you have a cup, a vessel, and it's turned the right way around and it's raining, it could catch the water. If it's the same vessel but turned the opposite way, doesn't matter how much rain goes, it's just going to fall off the sides. Similarly, if we're full of it and we turn away from Krishna, it doesn't matter what Krishna's grace is coming our way, it will just get deflected. We have to be open. We can't be full of things that are making us turn away from Krishna. Okay, let's carry on. I think I gave this example a few weeks ago. So here's a mirror. This woman is thinking she's beautiful. When you have a glass like through a window here, through that glass you could see the world. But the same glass, if you paint with a layer of silver, it becomes a mirror. That mirror, you just see yourself. You don't see the world anymore. You don't see the reality, isn't it? So similarly, when we're seeing this world through the prism of our mind, when it's purified by gratitude to Krishna, we see the world as how Krishna made it. We see it as Krishna is instructing it in the Bhagavad Gita. We see the reality and we see Krishna behind it. But when we're looking through that same glass, through the prism of our wealth, our possessions, our beauty, all of these things, Janmeshwarya, Shutashribir, and we're intoxicated by it, that's like the layer of silver, where all we see everywhere is our ego and how we can enjoy this world. But we don't see Krishna. Therefore, why would you call for Krishna if you can't see Krishna? Yeah, it's not possible. So these people are self-centered, they only admire themselves, they're not living in the real sense. They're living in illusion. Yeah? Can someone read out this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam? Who's not read thus far? Gaurav, you want to go for it?
Atheistic fools and rascals who are very much proud of wealth fail to see things as they are. Therefore, returning them to poverty is the proper ointment for their eyes so they may see the things as they are. At least a poverty-stricken man can realize how painful poverty is, and therefore he will not want others to be in painful condition like his own.
Now, everyone might be thinking, okay, do I need to give the whatever's in my bank account to Sanatan or Sachi in particular, right? No, you don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. This akinchana gocharan, let's have a look at what this word means, or these words mean. But what essentially we're talking about is poverty in spirit, right? Not externally. Because you could have a pauper that's proud of his penny. You could have a pauper that's mad to become a millionaire. Does that make sense? So someone who doesn't have a million and is chasing a million and is mad after that is the same as someone who's a millionaire is chasing after the next million. Yeah? So it's not literally a kinchana. We'll speak about kinchana in a second, but one who has no possessions. So this word, abhidatam, in the Sanskrit, means to be exhausted. Right? If one is exhausted, then they could fully express themselves. It goes hand in hand. They could chant Krishna's name, call Krishna's name wholeheartedly. So here in this example, in this picture, we have Draupadi when she was being disrobed. Yeah? When she was being disrobed, you can see here a small glimpse of the environment. She looked towards her husbands for help. Her husbands were basically slaves at that time. If you don't know this story, just look it up in your spare time. But her husbands they gambled themselves in the dice game. The families and the elders surrounding them, they'd all been silenced. Even the religious elders were just turning away, looking down in disgust and shame. She was looking, calling to all of them. None of them helped. Then as it goes in the Mahabharata, then what happens?
She calls to Krishna.
She calls to Krishna.
But she has one hand still on the rope.
Yes.
Until she released both hands.
Excellent. All right, so you can see she's been dragged here by Dushasan, and she's got this one cloth that's covering her whole body. And Dushasan is like, he's got the power of 10,000 elephants. He's one of these types of warriors. So what happens is Draupadi initially comes out, she's dragged out, she doesn't even know why. She's sussing it out, she's calling her husband. Bhim would have killed everyone normally, but he's looking away. She's calling everyone, all the people she would have relied on for help, who've helped her up until this point. None of those people, none of those things, none of their potencies, none of the powers, none of the laws of the state that she relied on up until now could help her in her greatest time of need. So at this point, what does she do? She cries to Govinda. But she cries to Govinda with one arm up and one arm still trying to save herself. Means she's still relying on her own strength to save her from the situation. When she fully realized that nothing and no one could help me, not even my own strength, and she put both arms and says, "Hey Govinda," that's when Krishna reciprocated by coming in the form of unlimited cloth. Yeah? When she became materially exhausted, she saw the futility of all her material shelters, that's when she called out to Krishna, using this this word here, abhidatta, means fully, wholeheartedly, not holding anything back, knowing the futility of everything in her life when it comes down to it. That's when she was able to call it out to Krishna in such a way. And Krishna is recalling this. So this is a verse from the Mahabharata, which is very sweet. Who's not read thus far? Hector, you want to read this out?
Her eyes full of tears, Draupadi cried out to me, "O Govinda, at the time I was far from Hastinapur, but her cry made me her debtor, and ever since my debt to her has been growing. This feeling does not leave my heart."
So can you see when someone calls out to Krishna in this way, Krishna never ever forgets them. Whatever the scenario, whatever the context, that cry to Krishna never leaves Krishna's heart. Anyone, even once, when they say. Beautiful, right? But that is the way to cry. So Draupadi went through that so we could understand. So just very quickly, I'm going to go through this and then we could kind of discuss it. We've only got a few minutes left. But if you remember, or you might not remember, but in that verse, in the last line, Tvam akinchana gochanan. So let's just go through this because this is very important. Gocharan, what does go mean? Cow, okay, yeah. What else does it mean? Yeah, the mind and the senses, right? Our mind, our senses. Gocharam, Yamuna Tira, Vana, Chadi. What does Chadi mean? To wander, all right? So Gocharam means basically wherever the senses are wandering to, wherever it could go. Okay? So the eyes see something nice, it goes to it. The tongue wants to taste something nice, it goes to a restaurant. Okay? It's wandering wherever that carrot is. Yeah? Does that make sense? That's Gocharam. So that's Gocharam, and then we have Akinchana. Before we get to Akinchana means Akinchana. It's two words. So Kinchana means something. What does Akinchana mean? Not something. Yeah, technically that's right. So what's an English word that just one word? Anything, did you just say? Nothing, yeah, Smith. Yo, okay, your maths is good. English, you didn't get 100% right. I'll tell you that right now. It might have been less than 50. Just stick to your strengths. If this was binary, you would have clashed out, right? Okay. And Kinchana means nothing, Smith. Okay, no thing. Okay, there you go, all right? Nothing. So it means you don't even have something. That's what Smith was trying to say, right? Just you don't even have something in your life. You have absolutely nothing. Literally, that's what it means. But the real meaning is one who has no material possessions, that's one meaning. Or one has material possessions, but they're exhausted. This can't give me anything in my life. Even if you piled it on more and more, this doesn't give me happiness. It doesn't give me substance. It doesn't give me clarity. It doesn't give anything. If anything, it might be the worst. It takes the other way. Or they regard nothing in the world as their own. Such people are akinchana. Okay? So the idea is we have to become spiritual beggars, not material ones. Spiritual beggars, not material ones. The only problem is when we're materially affluent, we don't really feel like begging. You know, we've given this example in the Bhakti psychology. Say if you've got a woman in like a top dollar sari, she drives to a joint in a Ferrari, you know, when the doors go up like this and it looks like it's flying. And she comes out, she's got jewels and bangles and, you know, all the rest of it. She's got anklets and tolets and God knows whatever else is going on there, right? When she's walking around, it sounds like a bell, all right? And then she's got her begging bowl. And she says, Amita, give me £10. Right? Even if she said that, how does it going to sound to you? You don't need it. And will it even sound like she needs it? No. It's more like a social experiment. She's just doing it, right? But the same person in rags, not eating for days, no transport, no shower, no jewelry, nothing on her she could sell. How is she going to beg? Right? She's going to beg for it, isn't it? So in the same way what's happening is when we're materially affluent in this world, when people are recognizing us and we're intoxicated by that, we come to Krishna and pray, it's a formality. There's no desperation there. Somehow, in order for us to become desperate, we need to see through our material affluence. We have to see what we've got in a grand analysis. Unless it's used in Krishna's service, it's poison. We're drowning. And we're helping ourselves and each other to drown more. If we see it like that, then you're going to call out for help. Make sense? It's like we're drowning and we're in the warm part of the ocean and we're thinking we're doing quite well. At least I'm not drowning in the cold part of the ocean. It's like that. Okay, so let's just carry on just very quickly. I just added this point here to this morning because I thought normally I bang on this point because it's quite a cool point, but I forgot about it. Okay, Queen Kunti. Oh, sugar. What happened there? Next verse. Okay, no, this one point here. So firstly, to have Krishna available to our senses, we've got to be a kinchana. Does that make sense? Right now our senses can see anything and everything else, can cry for anything and everything else because it can't see Krishna and it doesn't want Krishna. Okay, it's too full. Now, Queen Kunti has got all of these things. She's got Janma, right? She was a princess. She's a queen. She's got Aishwarya. She's got all the wealth. She's got the kingdom back now. She's got number 2. What was the third one? That's now you're attached to the beauty. Before it was the education, Shuta, right? Yeah. She's spontaneously compiling these Sanskrit verses which have been read by the Amalapmas, by the Munis, by the Paramahamsas. She's got education. And Shri, does anyone know about Queen Kunti's beauty?
She's got the youth of a teenage girl.
Yeah, with a 16-year-old girl, she will never age beyond that up until the time she dies. She got that benediction. So she's got beauty. She's got all 4 of these things, yet she's talking about a Kinchana Gochanan, and she can see Krishna. So in life, you either don't have these things at all, and you're happy because you can see the futility of them. Or you have these things partially, and you just realize it's my karma, and if I had more of this or less than this, it's insubstantial. Or if you're fortunate to have some of these things in abundance, you have to learn to see through the futility of these things. You could be one of these categories, or these categories can change. In any case, whether you have an abundance of material prosperity or don't, you have to see through the futility of it. If you can't see through the futility of it, you can't see Krishna in this lifetime. And therefore you can't call for Krishna. Does that make sense? So Queen Kunti had all 4 in abundance. Still, she's seeing Krishna, still she's calling to Krishna, and Krishna is staying, listening to her call. Yeah? So we have to be a bit like a bank clerk. Getting lots of money, but realizing nothing in this bank, it belongs to me at all. I'm just a caretaker. If it comes to me on a good day, there's a lot. If it's a bad day, there's not so much, but either way, it's not mine. Yeah? Does that make sense? That's how we become materially exhausted. Okay, so hopefully that's done some justice to a Kinchana Gochanan and what it means to be materially exhausted. I think rather than going through the next verse, even though it's just it finishes the point, but I think it's a good way to remind ourselves next week as well. Does anyone want to speak about or share some reflections about becoming materially exhausted and how that's happened in your life, or how you envisage it will happen, or any questions at all? Does anybody want to share something in the last couple of minutes? Yes, Bhavik.
The story of Queen Kunti, her equal and opposite, Dhritarashtra's wife, also had those 4 things.
Yeah.
She used them in the wrong way.
Yeah, that's a nice contrast, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Very nice. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Smith?
Yes, one way to do it is, the obvious way is to try and use all of that in service for Krishna and the devotees. So
yeah,
we've got so many possessions, seemingly, but they can all really be used, like your car, your money, your friends, everything can be engaged in some sort of service.
Yeah.
Every time you can build up.
Definitely. The more we keep hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the more we come to Sanghas, the more we could remind ourselves of this fact, the reality. And then the more we could, when we get to work, we could see, actually, I'm still attached to this, but I could also see it doesn't belong to me. I could see I'm not in control of this. I could see it now. So I need to work on that attachment. And so one way is to either not do it, but if it's part of my dharmic duty, let me use it in Krishna's service. And in that way, I'm using it in Krishna's service, I'm not so attached to it myself. Yeah, I'm actively being a caretaker, so that's good. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Any thoughts? Yep, Kishan?
From my background, so what the Shastra Acharyas say, when we are training, they always put like weapon in front of us, like the kanda, the talwar, or the trishul in front of us. And when Draupadi says let go, that's when they tell us to let go. And then the next step is to see through your point. That was quite a good contrast.
Okay, nice, yeah, to see through what you're actually seeing. Yeah, very good. Okay, anyone else? Any final points?
I think sometimes these things can come to you anyway.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not chasing and obsessed with these things and you're doing things for the right reasons and in the right way,
Mm.
and if you have these things, using them in the right way, they can be there, but your hunger, if it's driven by the spiritual things, like they can kind of surround you.
Yeah, definitely.
As a well, not as a consequence of you chasing it, but it's kind of just there.
A byproduct of your karma, let's just say. Yeah.
Something like that.
So remember, the thing is not to get intoxicated by these things. And Queen Kunti is not saying to just throw things away. So she's not even throwing away her kingdom and things like that. But she is seeing her kingdom as Krishna's kingdom. She's seen her children as parts and parcels of Krishna. So she's seen everything in connection with Krishna. And that's what real renunciation means. One level of renunciation is, I came into this world with nothing, I leave with nothing, nothing's mine. So then I don't do anything with anything. But Rupa Goswami says that's impartial renunciation. Or not impartial, that's incomplete renunciation. Real renunciation is to understand it's not mine, it's Krishna's. So therefore let me use it in Krishna's service. Otherwise there's something I'm not using in Krishna's service. So I'm not fully devoted to Krishna. That makes sense? And so when we use things, everything ultimately in Krishna's service one way or another, there's not really a part of our life that's not connected to Krishna. So for a devotee, it's not that they're running away from money, but money belongs to Krishna. It's not that they're running away from influence, but if Krishna wants influence to come into their life, they'll use it in Krishna's service. So everything that's coming in their life, they're investing into bhakti. And everything that's not coming, they're thinking Krishna's protecting me, they don't want me to get into this. Maybe it will take me off the path. So whatever's coming, they're just reinvesting it into bhakti rather than into Maya. Okay, Gaurav, yep. Oh, Hector?
She wanted to have something.
Oh, no, all right.
Oh.
I think we read something about with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, that's Spider-Man, yeah?
Something like that, right?
I didn't read it, but I heard it. Shravanam. I heard that many years ago, mind you, but yeah. Chewing the chewed. Yeah.
These opulences, these knowledge, so these are the powers. Because
Great power comes great, yeah. I mean, I guess Krishna originally did say that. Something like that. Spider-Man nicked it. Or Uncle Ben. It was Uncle Ben. Let's give credit where credit's due. It was Uncle Ben, who's no longer with us, apparently. Okay, Janaki, any realizations? Because this might be the last time in 6 months we see you. Any thoughts that are free-flowing? Any realizations, reflections?
Like Smith said, it's knowing sometimes you can have it all, but make a conscious effort to use it in service. So be it a car or money or whatever it may be, kind of go that extra mile to think about how can I actually use this in service.
Yeah.
So consciously do it.
I think that's a good thing. You could just, a first step towards yukta vairagya, or using things in Krishna's service, and in doing that not being so attached and ultimately not attached, is what do I have at my disposal and what can I use in Krishna's service? Even just like one thing, whether it's money or time or resources or abilities or talents or skills, or even if I just don't have anything, what can I do with my time for Krishna, my spare time? So if we start looking at every aspect of our life and thinking, how can I connect this to Krishna directly or indirectly? In one way, even if you become more ambitious, you're doing it for Krishna. Yeah? So Krishna asks Arjun, use your Kshatriya talents and skills in service to me as Dharma, to protect righteousness, to uplift the consciousness of everyone. So in that way. And if you're struggling to think of things, you're more than welcome to message and we could discuss things, but everyone can contribute something to Krishna. You know, otherwise there'd be no meaning to bhakti. It's the most accessible thing. Okay, thank you, Janaki. Anyone else? Any last thoughts before we finish for the day? Yeah, Avni?
No, thank you. It was really deep today. I liked it.
You liked today?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, fine. Dia, any sarcastic comments from you before we finish? Does that mean yes? Or okay, fine. Shanice, any last points? No? Okay, Hare Krishna. So, Neelam again has made... Was it Neelam made...